welcome to the Lawndale Guitar Show, the show that's all about guitars and the people that play them. And our guest for this episode is Mr. Paul Ellis. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks
for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're a South Bayite, so you're a local.
Yes.
And longtime player.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would, tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into guitar in the first place.
Well, I guess I've always loved music, and I remember my neighbor played guitar, so I used to like going over there and listening to her play all the time, and I finally got a guitar at 10, took a class, and then have been hooked ever since.
So how many years in total now?
Let me see, I have to add it up.
Time gets away from you.
Oh man, 35 years.
That's a good stretch.
Yeah.
And your style of music, because I've heard you play before in the past, is jazz oriented and classical based. Is there other aspects or interests that you have in it?
Yeah, I've kind of been fortunate to play in a lot of different situations. I've done it. I love Brazilian music. I do try to do my best to play in that situation. I've done some situations where I played some African type of things and pop music, country music, but most of my time practicing is based in the classical and jazz world. If I don't stay sharp with that stuff every day, I'm gonna lose something, I think, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's a difficult animal.
Yeah. So I practice that every day. Hopefully I'm getting better.
Now, in addition to practicing and learning, you actually teach.
Yeah.
And that's something I'd like you to explain a little bit, because you're actually teaching here in Lawndale.
Yes, I am. Yeah. So I'm teaching 2 classes here in Lawndale, one for kids and one for adults. And they're basic guitar classes. For the kids, I'm just trying to have them get interested in the instrument, make it kind of a fun experience.
Like an introduction?
Yeah, an introduction. Then from there, they can do whatever from that. If they have, I want to kind of make it like a happy place for them. They come so it kind of relates to music. You know, I don't want them, if it's a negative thing where I'm pressuring them, I think that they might have a negative effect with music. Yeah, with any type of music. I've known people like that. That they were forced to play some instruments, piano, they didn't like it, so it's just a negative thing. So I want to try to make it a happy, positive thing for them. And then if they want to get more serious, that's available to them also, and I could work with them.
Now the instruction, I'm going to guess, is on acoustic guitars?
Both acoustic and electric.
Oh, they can bring it.
Yeah,
and they bring their own instruments.
Yeah, they bring their own instruments. Yeah.
But if it's electric, do they have a small amp, or are they just playing as best they can to be heard?
Sometimes I let them use the amp.
Okay.
Because sometimes kids will plug in the amp and turn
loud.
it up really loud.
Right. Now, is that true of the adult classes as well? It's mixed, electric and acoustic?
Yes. Yeah.
And I've seen some classes, both for young people and adult, where they're teaching popular music of let's say, the Beatles or familiar songs. Are you teaching that, or are you just chords and scales?
Yeah, I try to mix it up and try to cover a lot of ground.
Get them well-rounded.
Yeah, well-rounded. Try to introduce a little bit of note reading so they know how to read music a little bit, some chords, some songs, song structure, little exercises. So I try to mix up everything for them.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, if you would, the guitar you've got in your lap there, let's talk a little bit about that. A nice jazz box.
Yeah, this is an Eastman hollow body, and I just love. I got it because I love the way it sounds. Plus, I love the way it plays. It just has a really nice, light way of playing. And has a warm sound,
Very
kind of a
rich
warm
tone,
that I'm looking for, Yeah. So.
How long have you had this guitar now?
About 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And do you have other hollow bodies, or is this your particular favorite?
I just have a little Ibanez that I use every now and then, but yeah, this is it pales in comparison to this.
Quality and sound.
Yeah.
And a single pickup.
Yeah.
Got
And
the
we
F holes.
the volume
it's
knob
full
here.
hollow body.
Yeah, the volume knob used to be down here. It was completely hidden, but it broke down, so I added one there.
Any other modifications, or is it pretty much as built?
Yeah, as built. Yeah, it's got a nice. The wood on the top is I think it's aging a little bit more, so the guitar gets a little more character as it ages.
True.
Yeah. So.
Nice
it's
dark
nice.
finish on the wood.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, kind of like a tiger,
Oh yeah, nice
tiger
pattern
back.
on the back,
Yeah,
particularly.
yeah. When I first bought it, I remember I just set it up against my couch, and just stared at it for about an hour.
I think some of us have done that when we get a new guitar. You just
It's
admire
like,
it for a
man,
while.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that to guard and protect and
Yeah.
cherish.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you get out and perform with any groups or
Yeah, I
solo?
do.
Or
Yeah, I do. I do solo gigs, which it's primarily a lot of classical guitar. I try to stay up with my classical guitar repertoire, and so I get weddings and funerals and private parties and things like that where I do solo guitar. I have a trio with my brother and a flute player, Stephanie James and Alan Ellis, and it's guitar, vibes, and flute, and we do all original music that I write. And we do concerts around the area, playing usually like in church
so it's a
concerts.
trio, no percussion?
No percussion, no, yeah.
So it's nice, gentle.
Yeah, and we all get along well, so that's a
counts.
big point.
That's a big plus.
Yeah, so before that I had like an 8-piece band, and it was too difficult getting everyone together. And,
A lot of effort.
Yeah,
It's like herding cats.
Yeah.
Everybody on the same page.
And then I have a duo with a trumpet player. His name's Bruce Friedman, and we call ourselves Pluck and Splat, and we play around South Bay quite a bit, just trumpet and guitar, and we do a lot of jazz tunes, and we do some free improv, and then we do our interpretation of kind of some pop tunes. We mix it up, and then I'm also involved in something called Jazz Channel LA. Takes place in the Valley, and they have like about 57 videos right now on YouTube of some of the best jazz musicians in LA.
What would they search under if they wanted to view it?
JazzChannelLA.com. JazzChannelLA.com is the website, and then you can link that to YouTube to get on the YouTube site. Yeah.
Now, as far as your setup that you're running through here, I see you have an old Ernie Ball volume pedal. Got one myself, exactly like that.
Yeah.
So you use that for your adjustments?
And I like to do, quite often, I was in a situation where I was playing with a piano player quite a bit, and the piano player wasn't leaving me much room to play chords, because she was doing all the chords and stuff, so I try to figure out what I'm going to do while there's chords going on. So I like to use this just for a little color little thing. So if somebody's playing a chord or whatever, I'll just throw in a little
accent notes coming in there.
just for color, almost like strings,
Right.
somewhere. And so and I found this, actually I completely forgot about this thing. I think it belonged to my friend from a long time ago.
That's where I got mine from a friend.
I found it lying around my parents' garage. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's where mine is. Mine's out in the garage.
Clean that up and use it, yeah. But yeah.
Because a lot of players will, nowadays particularly, are good with using the small finger on the volume control on the guitar, but that is handy, I think.
Yeah.
Now, what are you running as far as your amp for today?
This is an acoustic amp, a Hartkey, and it's got 4 speakers, and then I think that's like a ribbon in the middle there. So it's a relatively cheap amp. I was at Sam Ash and tried it out, and I thought, wow, I love the sound of that thing. And it sounded great with I actually bought it at the same time I bought this nylon string, and they sounded great together. And then I plugged this guy in, And I thought, wow, it sounds
It
great,
worked.
great with this. Yeah.
So when you go play out and you do shows, this is the one
Yeah,
you use?
yeah. Usually I just use this thing. Yeah. I have a Fender Bassman also that I use every now and then, or Bluesman, Fender Bluesman. But I really like I like the warmth of the sound. Yeah.
Now you lean back to look at some of the other guitars. You want to show what else you brought in?
Okay. Let me see. Let me unplug this puppy here. Okay, what should we start with? I guess we'll just go in order here.
Sure.
This is a Contreras, 1972 Contreras, made in Spain. And I bought this when I was 20 off my guitar teacher at the time. My guitar teacher had me do some gigs for him and teach his students. And he found this guitar for me. And so basically I got it for free.
Wow.
But, it's got a nice, very, very warm. Yeah, just a really aged kind of sound, you know, from an older
Now
guitar.
I can see, I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but there is a sort of a clear scratch guard of some sort on the bottom. Did you have that put on, or was that?
Yeah, I did. When I got it,
keep the wear?
it was kind of worn right in there.
You've probably seen, Willie Nelson's famous for his
trigger.
where the holes are worn through.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah, and I think somebody thought of it as just sort of a hacker guitar.
Yeah.
Little they know that it was a really nice guitar.
Really high quality.
Yeah, high quality Contreras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up one the same where I had to do some glue joint repair on the body.
Yeah.
The sound is still there. It doesn't matter, cosmetics.
Yeah, Brazilian rosewood back.
Beautiful.
It's just you can't. It's a type of sound that takes years to develop in this guitar. So yeah.
Great.
And then let me see. I'll pull out my Strat.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. So
More up my alley, I guess.
Strat Plus that I use for like rock gigs and stuff. If I get it every now and then, and plug this guy in here. And I liked the sound of these pickups because I like listening to a lot of, come from kind of a jazz background, so I'm looking for kind of a warmth and a real clear sound.
EMGs or?
These are like lace center pickups.
Lace center,
yeah. And I got this one back in like 1992, but I really like the clarity of the sound of the core of the instrument. Yeah.
It still has the brightness of
it's
Strats.
very bright. Yeah, I love that. And then it has a nice warm,
More the blues tone.
yeah. So.
Now it could be with a tremolo, but I see you keep the arm off.
Yeah,
Don't
I
generally
just
use
haven't
that.
used that. I liked using it a lot when I had it. Actually, I think I used it a little too much when I had it.
Little
So it's
extra
good.
vibrato?
It's good to not have it on there.
No other modifications to this guitar? other than the way it
No,
came?
it's just I just kept it the way it is. Besides, it's got a few little dings on it.
Little
and stuff,
cosmetics, but that's just normal wear and tear and gives it
But-
character.
Yeah, I pull this thing out every now and then for different things, and I think it's a pretty decent quality instrument. And then my last one here is a nylon string electric, and it's like a hybrid for different things.
Right.
You
With
know,
a cutaway, so you have
Yeah.
access to the upper frets.
Yeah, if I'm doing like a classical gig or something, it works well. Or if I'm doing a jazz kind of thing, it's got a pretty nice sound, I think. Let me see. Yeah. That's kind of like my
Now you
classic.
found with your setup that you're using with this amp and so forth, you're not having the problem of feedback with this nylon string?
Nah, I haven't had.
Sometimes that's the big problem.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's why you
yeah.
know these sort of models here where there's no body to resonate.
Yeah,
and
I
no
generally
feedback.
play in situations where I'm playing pretty quiet. It's not
Right, not
ridiculously
enough,
loud.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it is nice to be mic'd oftentimes. But if you can get away from mic'd, I mean, you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
fluctuating around
yeah,
the
yeah,
microphone. So
yeah,
being plugged
yeah,
straight in is great.
Yeah. I end up practicing with this thing the most because it's sort of I could do some jazz stuff on it. I could do classical stuff on it or whatever. It's you know, I can mix it up. It's easy. It's easy to play linear lines, jazz lines, and things like that, and whatever. So and then I could switch and play my classical stuff on it, whatever. So it's the more versatile instrument.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We should try and sound some of these out a little bit
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
So
Let's
if
do
you
it.
want to take a second and we'll get set up and,
Cool.
and do something.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back in just a second. All right, welcome back, and our guest is Mr. Paul Ellis, and we're going to try a little jam now. Paul, you want to introduce what this piece is?
Yeah, let's do Herbie Hancock's Cantaloupe Island.
Okay.
All right.
Count it up.
All right. 1, 2,
Very tasty. Very well done. All right.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll take a little break, and we'll come back with another one. Okay, we're back, and Paul, we see that now you brought out the acoustic nylon string electric, and try another piece on this. What do you got in store?
Let's do a little Latin thing in C minor.
All right. Take us in there.
All right.
Very nice. That's sort of that Santana flavor in there, right?
Yeah. We're both influenced by Santana a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also have the Spanish guitar, so you want to take off on a little solo demo
I'll
on that
play a
for us?
short little classical piece.
That'd be great.
All right.
That'd be great. Let's sit and listen to that.
So this is Lagrima, which means tear, by Francisco Tárrega.
Ah, that was beautiful.
Thanks.
So if I took your class, I'd learn that piece, right?
Yeah, the first day. Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, after a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I played that one after I've been playing for maybe a year.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I started straight with classical music. So
That was your intro into guitar?
Yeah, my intro was classical guitar music and reading music and all that. And then I got into all the rock and pop and stuff later.
Sort of the reverse of many.
Yeah.
Youths,
And a lot of the rock stuff, the classical was with the reading. And then, of course, as you know, if you want to learn rock stuff, you had to just do it all by ear too.
That's
so
right.
It was good for
two sides of the coin.
Good for the ear, Yeah.
Two separate trainings, both useful.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got the Strat set up.
All right.
And I want to thank you again, Paul, for coming in.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And so now we'll take it out with something a little up tempo, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah, a little funky
jam?
thing. Yeah.
You want to just do something around E for fun?
That sounds good.
A little ninth sort of funky jam.
Cool.